What if your family and you were out shopping at your favorite local mall, enjoying the day and the time you spent with your loved ones, but suddenly a man comes up to you before you can even react, he reveals his body in front of you and your family without warning? What if it happens to you or your younger sister or daughter whose rights and innocence is being violated? People who have a history of any such acts of perversion are indeed sex offenders and need to be labeled appropriately in order to maintain public awareness, safety of our community, and to keep individuals with intentions of committing sexual offense from attempting or repeating these crimes. Knowing about sexual offenders in the area helps to avoid possibly allowing them into your lives. By going to familywatchdog.com, you're able to see public offenders in the area and know who will just keep your distance from people who might be able to harm you or your family in a sexual way. Being labeled with being a sex offender, I don't know, anyone who has been accused of performing a lewd or indecent act is facing very serious consequences. Although penalties vary by state, being convicted of a lewd act or public sexual indecency charge may require the individual to serve jail time, register as a sex offender, and serve probation, which is needed to keep order. Sex offenders being made public is a must in order to keep our families safe from being subjected to sexual exposure and abuse. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Ms. Dennis, for the defense.
Jury, don't look as the sex offender as someone that you just don't know, as your stranger. Look at the sex offender as someone that you do know, like your daughter, your son, or your brother, or your sister. Would you want them to be publicized in front of everyone that you know, or to a stranger for them just knowing this off of a judge of a book? Most sex offenders actually don't find their victims at playgrounds or in a mall. They actually have tight relationships with them. They actually know their victims. That's why they get sexually attracted to them. What if a sexual offender changes his or her ways while being locked up or serving their time? What if they actually start to look towards Jesus and find out what they did was wrong? Everyone can change or have second and third chances. Isn't that what everybody says? And doesn't people give everyone a chance? So why couldn't a sex offender have that chance too? You can be counted as a sex offender by running naked in public, skinny dipping, or even publicly urinating outside. And if you think about it...
Where are you finding these facts at? Not one of these have you said where you're getting your facts as far as what categorizes a sex offender.
I found it. Do you want me to get my information?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Can you tell us where you are getting this while you're looking for that?
Yes, I actually found it in different places. One, the Megan laws, and I also found it.
The Megan laws?
Yeah, these are different facts. And then these are other sites that relate to them. And this is where I found how these are different sexual crimes that you can be convicted as a sex offender. And also gov.com.
Overruled. But I will warn Ms. Dennis that in the future you need to cite your sources while you're making your presentation.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
And urinating, most people, common teenagers or common young adults, are actually dared to do these things. So if they were caught, wouldn't they be classified? They had the chance to be classified as a sex offender, and they did not take these off. And that was based on that. When in prison, you are stripped from your privacy. You have to take a shower with the other inmates. You're always watched, and a lot of prisoners that like serve time or that have been let out for good behavior, they should get their freedom back. But here we are arguing the case to trap them.
Relevance to the case.
I was going to say it afterwards. It's on here. And arguing over the case to trap like the defense by living in their own homes, isn't that putting them in prison even though they serve their time? And I've actually got that from a prisoner, from an inmate, my brother. And then from the Megan laws, most victims actually don't even say that they've been sexually offended. So do you think that some sexual offenders think that this is actually a therapeutic way, trying to get relieved out of this way? And also psychiatrists say from the massgovernor.com that some sex offenders also relate this way because they actually think that this is the only way to kind of heal their pain by hurting other people the way that they've been hurt. And from the Megan laws, 90% of child victims know they're sexual offenders, and most of the half of the offenders are actually family members. So what Mr. Bryan said, being watched by a babysitter, you know, people really trust their families. So what if half of them are actually family members, so they can actually be sexually offended by their members? So that wouldn't really help them to be publicized because that's part of your blood. And then 12 and up, approximately 80% also know they're offenders. So it could be someone that you trust once again. So being publicized doesn't really help you at all because you're not really helping other people because if they know they're victims, they don't just pick strangers off the street. And that proves my case.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Dennis.